True love, illusions, reality, and two things that cannot be faked. Love has always been an eternal theme of humanity, praised in poetry, mythology, and timeless romantic tales. Yet, for that very reason, it has also become one of the most misunderstood concepts. We are easily swept up by illusions of love, believing in the beautiful ideals that society paints, while in reality, love is far more complex. Romantic movies teach us that love is intense passion, exhilarating moments, and the heart-racing thrill of attraction. But is that really true love? Or is it merely a biological reaction? A mechanism of the brain that places people in a temporary state of euphoria? A person who truly loves you will give you two things. And they are not promises, fleeting moments of sweetness, or expensive gifts. These two things are time and respect, the only elements that cannot be faked, fabricated, or replaced by anything else. But before we dive deeper into these two crucial aspects, we must first break free from some of the most common illusions about love, the false beliefs that many unconsciously accept, only to become victims of their own misplaced expectations. Time, the truest measure of love. We often speak about love in grand, poetic terms, passion, sacrifice, and sweet moments. But when we strip away all these layers, the essence of love does not lie in promises or fleeting emotions. Instead, it is found in something profoundly simple yet impossible to fake: time. You can lie with words, feign interest through shallow messages, but you cannot fake spending time with someone if they are not truly important to you. A person may say they love you, but if they do not take the time to listen, understand, and share meaningful moments with you, their love is nothing more than a song without melody, a story without substance. Time never lies. Those who truly value you will make time for you. Those who don't will always have an excuse. How important are you? Look at their time allocation. Think about it. What do people spend their time on? They spend time on work because they need to earn a living. They spend time on entertainment because they need relaxation. They spend time with family because they cherish their most important relationships. If someone truly sees you as an essential part of their life, you will appear in their schedule, not as an afterthought, not squeezed between other priorities, but as meaningful, dedicated moments of care, companionship, and patience. If someone always says they're busy but still finds time to play games, scroll through social media, or hang out with friends, the issue is not lack of time. The issue is that you are not a priority. Busyness, the perfect excuse. In a world consumed by responsibilities and work, "I'm too busy" has become an acceptable excuse. But what is the reality? A CEO of a massive corporation can still make time for family. A surgeon working 14-hour shifts can still be there when their loved ones need them. A career-driven individual can still send a message, make a quick call, or arrange a meeting. If someone truly wants you in their life, they will find a way. If someone only remembers you when it's convenient, you are merely an option, not a priority. Time is the most valuable currency of life. Once it's spent, it can never be recovered. That's why we only invest it in what truly matters. So, don't fall for empty words. Pay attention to how people allocate their time. If you are not part of their schedule, you were never truly on their mind. The paradoxes of love. Life is full of paradoxes, and love is no exception. Here are some of the greatest contradictions. 1. The busiest people still make time, while the free ones always have excuses. Have you ever met someone who always claims to be too busy for you? Yet they can spend hours on social media, Netflix, or social gatherings? This is the difference between real busyness and selective busyness. When someone says, "I don't have time," what they often mean is, "I don't want to make time for you." Busyness is not a state, it's a matter of priorities. 2. Someone can spend the whole day with you and still not be present. Have you ever sat next to someone but felt completely alone? They may be physically present, but mentally, emotionally, and spiritually, they are somewhere else. Time is not just about being together, it's about the quality of connection in those moments. A person who truly loves you will not just be there, they will be engaged, attentive, and genuine. 3. The less time you get, the more you value it, but don't let that deceive you. There's an interesting psychological effect. We tend to cherish what is rare more than what is always available. If someone rarely gives you time, you might unconsciously treasure the few moments they offer. Even if it's just scraps of attention, you might convince yourself that their love is special, simply because it's hard to obtain. But remember, love is not a luxury item. Someone who truly loves you will never make you wait your turn. Final thought. Time never lies. In a world full of empty promises, sweet words, and romantic illusions, one thing remains impossible to fake: how someone spends their time with you. If they love you, they will find a way. If they don't, they will find an excuse. You don't need to guess whether someone loves you, just look at how they schedule their time. That's the truest answer, free from deception or justification. Remember, you deserve a real place in someone's life, not just a temporary stop when it's convenient for them. And once you understand that time is the ultimate measure of love, you will stop tolerating empty words and broken promises. You will recognize who truly values your presence, and who is merely wasting your time. Respect, the foundation of every lasting relationship. Love often begins with emotions, but without respect, it quickly becomes distorted and toxic. A person may desire you, crave you, or even obsess over you, but if they do not respect you, that love will inevitably turn into control, possession, or worse, emotional abuse. There is a paradox in love that many people overlook. Not everyone who loves you treats you well. Some confuse love with ownership, and as a result, they love in a way that seeks to control, dominate, and mold you into an extension of themselves rather than allowing you to be your own person. So how can you tell if a relationship is truly healthy? The answer is simple. Look at the level of respect they show you. Respect is more than avoiding harm, it's about lifting each other up. We often think of respect in a negative sense, meaning not insulting, not hurting, or not deceiving someone, but real respect in love goes beyond merely avoiding harm. It actively nurtures and uplifts the other person. Someone who truly loves you will want you to grow, not shrink so they can control you. Ask yourself these questions. Do they value your opinions? Or do they constantly dismiss them? Do they listen to you patiently? Or are they just waiting for their turn to argue? Do they respect your boundaries? Or do they always try to manipulate and control you? A relationship without respect will quickly become a burden, where one person feels suppressed, diminished, and gradually loses their identity. If someone constantly makes you feel small and insignificant, that is not love, that is a form of toxic possession. And you need to break free from it as soon as possible. How they treat you in conflict reveals their true respect for you. There is a simple but highly effective way to measure the level of respect in a relationship. Observe how they treat you when they are angry. Anyone can be loving when everything is going well, but when conflicts arise, that's when true character is revealed. A respectful person will argue to understand you, not just to win the argument. They may be angry, but they won't degrade you. They may disagree, but they won't belittle you. Respect during conflict is often revealed in the way they use words. Do they interrupt you constantly? Do they mock your opinions? Do they use hurtful words that they later regret? If someone regularly makes you feel stupid, worthless, or insignificant, that love has no future. You can forgive a person for small mistakes, but if they lack respect for you, the relationship cannot survive. The hidden paradoxes of love that few recognize. We often assume that love is simple, that loving someone is enough. But in reality, love is full of paradoxes that trap people in toxic relationships they mistake for true love. 1. The more you try to forget someone, the more you think about them. This happens because the brain does not process the word, don't. When you force yourself to stop thinking about them, you actually reinforce their presence in your mind. It's like when someone tells you, don't think about a pink elephant, and suddenly, you can't stop picturing one. 2. The more someone ignores you, the more you want them. This is a common psychological trap. The less accessible something is, the more we desire it. This is why people often mistake emotional unavailability for value. Just because someone ignores you does not mean they're worth chasing. Just because someone is difficult to reach does not mean they're the right one for you. 3. The harder something is to get, the more attractive it seems. This is why many people are drawn to dramatic, painful relationships instead of stable and healthy ones. They confuse chaos with passion and mistake anxiety for deep love. A real love doesn't make you feel insecure, it makes you feel safe. Final thoughts. Finding true love is a blessing, but recognizing it is a skill. Love is not just a fleeting emotion, it is a choice you make every day. You cannot force someone to love you, but you can choose not to lose yourself in a toxic love. Remember, a person who truly loves you will never make you question whether they do. They will be there, steady and unwavering. They will make time for you, even in a busy life. They will respect you, even when they disagree with you. Because love is not just beautiful words, it is a choice. Patience, and real companionship. So ask yourself, are you receiving respect and time from the person you love? If not, maybe it's time to reassess your relationship. Love. Believable illusions and uncomfortable truths. Love. A concept that seems simple yet remains one of the most complex and misunderstood aspects of human life. People are captivated by fairy tale romances, but few take the time to see the paradoxes hidden within its true nature. We often assume we understand love, but in reality, many people are living in illusions fabricated by society, media, and their own minds. If you believe that love is simply about butterflies in the stomach, heart-racing moments, or intoxicating romantic experiences, then you are only seeing a small part of the picture. Because love is not just a feeling, it is a choice. A test of time, and a journey, not a destination. And along this journey, there are truths that most people avoid, because they shatter the beautiful beliefs we desperately cling to. Only by facing the real essence of love can we begin to understand it on a deeper and more meaningful level. Illusion 1. The more you think about someone, the more you love them? Wrong. It's just a psychological effect. Have you ever wondered why someone you never paid attention to suddenly becomes the center of your thoughts after just a few encounters? You might think you're falling in love, but in reality, this is simply the mere exposure effect, a psychological mechanism that makes us feel attached to things that are familiar. Think about a song you didn't like at first, but after hearing it repeatedly, you unconsciously start humming along. Love sometimes works the same way. Our brain does not clearly distinguish between real emotional connection and mere familiarity. When you see someone frequently, your brain starts registering them as important, even if there is no genuine connection. This explains why people often develop feelings for coworkers, classmates, or even strangers simply because they repeatedly appear in their daily lives. This isn't necessarily true love, it's just psychological conditioning. The lesson here? Be mindful of your emotions. Don't let your brain trick you into thinking you love someone just because you think about them often. Illusion 2. Someone who looks perfect from afar might be worthless up close. We live in a world where image is everything. Social media, entertainment, and modern culture have created idealized templates of love, making people easily attracted to superficial charm while ignoring depth. Imagine walking into a store and seeing a beautifully displayed item under perfect lighting. You are drawn to it, but when you take a closer look, you realize it's just a cheaply made product with a polished exterior. This happens far more often in love than we realize. Many people look flawless from a distance. They are attractive. They know the right words to say. They curate the perfect online persona. But once you enter a real relationship with them, you discover they lack depth, emotional intelligence, and true substance. The real danger? We are drawn to the illusion of perfection and forget that a person's true nature only reveals itself over time. Ask yourself, do you love someone for who they are, or for how they make you feel in fleeting moments? Do you love them because they are genuinely good, or because they are skilled at making you believe they are? If someone looks perfect from afar but feels empty up close, you might be in love with the idea of them, not the real person. Illusion 3. If you can't leave someone who hurts you, it must be love? No, it's an addiction. There's a question that many people in toxic relationships often ask themselves. If they hurt me so much, why can't I leave? The answer is simple yet hard to accept. Love can function like an addiction. When you love someone, your brain releases dopamine, the same chemical associated with euphoria, similar to drugs like cocaine. When you're with them, you feel high, exhilarated, and alive. When they leave, you feel empty, lost, and in pain, just like withdrawal from a substance. This is why so many people mistake emotional attachment for real love. They believe that if a relationship causes them pain but they can't walk away, it must be deep love. They think that if they can't stop thinking about someone even when they're hurt, it must be destiny. The truth? This is not love, it's an emotional addiction. Ask yourself, if you love someone but they constantly hurt you, do you truly love them? Or are you addicted to the emotional highs and lows? If you can't leave, is it because you love them? Or because you fear losing something familiar? Only by recognizing this truth can you distinguish between real love and emotional dependency, and avoid staying trapped in relationships that harm you. Final thought. True love is not an illusion, it is a conscious choice. If you want to know whether love is real, don't just rely on temporary emotions. Look at how someone spends their time on you. See if they respect you. Because in the end, feelings can deceive you, but time and respect never will. Love is not just an emotion, it's a choice. We grow up believing that love is magical, emotional, and uncontrollable. Movies, romantic novels, and popular culture constantly plant an enticing idea in our minds. Love is a pure feeling, arriving unexpectedly, exploding with intensity, and taking over our thoughts. But there's a truth that few dare to acknowledge. Love is not just an emotion, it is a conscious choice. If love were purely emotional, then why do people who were once deeply in love become strangers? If love was so natural that no one could control it, then why do some people choose to leave a passionate love behind for something else? The true nature of love is not just heart-racing emotions, but a long process of choices, commitment, and deliberate actions. And when we understand this, we are no longer manipulated by illusions of love, nor do we let fleeting emotions dictate the course of our lives. 1. Emotions may explode, but choice is what sustains love. Have you ever wondered why some relationships start intensely but fade quickly? No matter how strong emotions are, they can never last forever. Scientists have shown that the initial excitement of love, the phase we call infatuation or deep attraction, only lasts between 4 months and 2 years. After this period, the dopamine and oxytocin that fuel excitement decline, and you no longer feel the same rush when seeing your partner. This is when many people start doubting their love. They think that if the passion is gone, the love is over. But in reality, this is the stage that truly determines whether love can last. Real love is not the explosion of emotions, but the decision to stay together even when the initial intensity fades. Many relationships don't end because the love disappears, but because people don't realize that love must be maintained through choices, not just emotions. 2. The feelings you think are love might just be lust or emotional wounds. One of the greatest paradoxes of love is that we often mistake love for other psychological states. Have you ever felt an intense attraction to someone but couldn't explain why? Have you ever obsessed over someone even when they treated you poorly? The truth is, many of the emotions we think are love are actually just responses from the brain to external stimuli. 1. Attraction does not equal love. There's an interesting phenomenon. You are more likely to be attracted to people who are unavailable. This is not coincidence, it's psychology. When we are unsure about someone's feelings for us, our brain releases more dopamine, making us feel more excited and drawn to them. This explains why people are often more interested in hard-to-get individuals, not because they are truly compatible, but because our brains love challenges. The danger? You might think you love someone just because they are difficult to obtain, not because they are actually right for you. And once you finally win them over, the excitement fades, and you feel empty, because it was never real love to begin with. 2. The fear of being alone can make you think you're in love. Many people don't truly love, they just need someone to fill the emptiness inside. This is why some people jump from one relationship to another without ever stopping to ask themselves, do I really love this person? Or am I just afraid of being alone? The harsh reality is, many people stay in relationships not because of love, but because they fear what will happen if they don't have that person in their life. And this fear can be so powerful that it keeps them in toxic relationships, convincing themselves that love means enduring pain. But if love is exhausting, makes you anxious, and causes you to lose yourself. It is not love, it is emotional dependency. 3. Love is not possession. It is respecting each other's space. One of the biggest mistakes people make in love is believing that love means owning each other, controlling each other, and being present in every moment of the other person's life. But the truth is, real love is not about control, it's about trust. Someone who truly loves you will not force you to change to fit their expectations. They will not mold you into an extension of themselves. They will respect you as an independent individual, with your own thoughts, dreams, and goals. True love is not blind jealousy. It does not restrict your freedom, it helps you grow into the best version of yourself. Ask yourself, does your love make you feel free, or does it suffocate you? Do you love the person for who they are, or for how they make you feel? Do you want to be with them because you truly cherish them, or because you don't want to lose the feeling of having someone there? If your love is built on possessiveness and fear, it is not love, it is control disguised as affection. Final thought. Love is a conscious choice. If there's one thing you should remember about love, it's this. Love is not a storm of emotions, it is a conscious decision made every day. You cannot control who enters your life, but you can control how you love and who you choose to stay with. And when you understand that real love is not obsession, not dependency, not fleeting emotions, but respect, commitment, and growth together, you will never fall for the illusions of love again. Because true love doesn't make you lose yourself, it helps you find yourself.